with it before, bros in atomic ways. Beef with it before, bros in atomic ways.
Welcome to the 23rd edition of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. It's the 5th episode of Season 3. We are the show who compare and contrast Fallout experiences through a lively roundtable discussion by playing through the same quests with characters who have been randomly assigned drastically different attributes. Welcome, everyone.
Hey, welcome everybody to the show. Thank you, Laura, for our wonderful introduction. Hey, a wonderful round of applause. Tonight,
no
everybody,
worries.
in the Fallout Feed, we are joined by Laura. Hi, Laura. How are you doing tonight?
I am.
Oh, hopefully she's well. Just mute
Yeah,
for a
sorry,
second. No, you're fine. How's it going?
I'm good, thank you very much. So I accidentally pressed the mute on my mic. Yeah, I am good. I hope you guys are as well.
Oh, so good. Thank you so much for joining us. It's like probably 4 in the morning or something where we are, but thanks for joining us, Laura. It's so awesome every time you come on to the show. It's great. Laura's going to be our play-along participant this evening, everybody, and we have our host, Pat, with us as well. Hi, Pat. How's it going?
Andrew, it's going great. I'll apologize for the pitter-patter of raindrops here. I'm going to try to stay muted as much as possible, but we're having quite a bit of a rainstorm here, so hopefully it doesn't last the whole show, and I hope everybody else is doing well. Laura, glad you could join us.
And just so you know, Pat, I can't really hear anything in your background, so you probably don't have to worry too much about it. But
all right, good to know it's not deafening.
And also tonight with us, Lee. How's it going, Lee?
I'm doing just fine.
Wonderful.
Glad to be here.
Great. Oh, so good for having you tonight with us, Lee. I think a couple weeks ago, Lee was telling me you were moving. You help a Star Trek fanfic film.
Yeah, the Axonar
Studios or something, right?
Yeah, they moved there due to the cost of renting a warehouse and maintaining it out in California, which was about $12,000 a month.
Oh,
they and being a fan production, they basically don't have any income.
No kidding.
And because they already had ties in the Atlanta area, they went ahead and moved their sets, which were very well constructed and they didn't want to have to destroy. They moved them to Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Wow.
And they showed up a couple weekends ago with 3 53-foot trailers full of stuff.
Oh my goodness.
And we helped them unpack it. If you go to my Facebook page, Lee W. Benjamin, in my photo albums, there's a bunch of photos from that day where we unpacked the trailers.
That's amazing. I've heard of lots of stuff production-wise moving to the Georgia, Atlanta area. I know lots of studios and stuff are now setting up in Georgia for some reason. So I guess production costs are a lot less there in Georgia than instead of Hollywood or whatever. So
yeah, they're paying between a third and a half what they were paying out there for equivalent stuff. And and Pinewood's out here now too.
What is that?
Pinewood Studios, like out of England. They're doing the Marvel stuff here.
Oh, that's very awesome.
I bet Laura's heard of Pinewood.
Oh yeah, very much. All heard of Pinewood, and it's it's very old. They did all like the old sort of classic Carry On films and stuff like that. I believe they filmed them, and pretty much all the good British films came from Pinewood.
All the good British films.
It's a long list. I know that.
But is it for tax reasons that all these companies are moving? Because I know that's the reason cities like Toronto are quite popular to film in, because they offer significant tax breaks, don't they, to production companies. And Toronto looks kind of like a very clean New York. So
yeah, it looks like New York Junior, sort of. Yeah, there's a very clean version. And lots of places are moving to Vancouver, British Columbia, and Canada too. They're doing lots of tax breaks to draw.
Yeah. Vancouver goes way back. I think the X-Files was the first sort of notable show to film everything in Vancouver.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because everywhere in DC looks like Vancouver. That's
that works. The one that the current show, I'm actually not current myself on it, but the Homeland, which takes place in DC. I think it's filmed somewhere in North Carolina, Raleigh. I think it's Raleigh. I don't think it's Raleigh. I believe it was Raleigh, and it's it's relatively very suburban, and so it looks like it looks like every part of DC looks like suburban DC because everything is so wide open and there's no tall. Well, DC doesn't have a lot of tall buildings, but of course it's really densely populated, and so you'll see people drive up, and on Homeland they'll drive up and they'll come to a 4-way stop, and there'll be open parking spaces in every corner, and there'll be no traffic, and it's like no, this is not the DC that I know. This is not it.
That's called managing your filming site.
Yeah.
Well, they filmed the last Avengers, the Age of Ultron. They filmed what was the name of the sort of undisclosed the Eastern European country, generic, whatever it was called. That was actually filmed at Hendon Police College before we. So I was up there for like some training while they were filming it, and they just had everywhere. So it's the least cool place in the world, but it fortunately looks like a rundown Eastern European country. So it was the perfect location to film.
I'm not sure that's the distinction they were going for.
Well, and they tore it down, so it was on its last legs, and they just thought, we'll turn it into we'll let the Avengers blow it up, or whatever it is.
Film a movie and put it out of its misery.
Yeah.
Hey, Pat, let's get a little flag update. If everyone remembers, right, could you give us a little reminder of our flag game and all that?
Yeah, we had a little capture the flag contest that we kicked off. Gosh, it's been an embarrassingly long time ago that we did that with. I think that was when we did our secret word game, right? I think that was what we did, and I apologize, Andrew. I'm blanking on the name of the listener who wrote in with the secret word.
Listener Kevin Keel, we're looking at you, buddy.
Kevin, thank you for playing along. And so the flag, the idea was Andrew, Kara, Dennis, and I were going to do some personal defacement of this Brotherhood of Steel flag, which I believe it was Michelle was kind enough to share with the show as kind of a running gag / souvenir. So we had a Brotherhood of Steel flag, which has three unique defacements. I was the third, and we got it over to Denny this week, so he confirmed that he's received it. So it is in his hot hands, and hopefully he'll have a chance to add some very special defacements to the Brotherhood of Steel flag, and then we'll send it along. And we're gonna let Kevin hang on to it for a while. The only hitch in this is that after he has had his way with it, had some pictures with it, had a little fun with it, we're going to ask him to send us at least one picture of the flag in situ somewhere funky or fun or otherwise interesting in his hometown, and then send it along to another listener. So the rate we're going, it'll be 2018 before we play again, but we're having some fun with it nonetheless.
Yeah, that's great. So Kevin, keep your ear to the ground. It'll I know it's been a long time, but it'll be heading your way here pretty soon, hopefully. So then we'll let you hang on to it for a good long while. Then we'll play the word game again. We'll have Pat come up with another secret word, and yeah, good fun. So capture the flag. Keep your ears out. So we got lots of quests to get through this evening for the round table. Again, we'll just be going through our quest and comparing our random attributes and how those random attributes affect how we go about our strategy for playing through these quests. We'll be playing a quest from the mod entitled Tales from the Commonwealth, available on the Xbox One and PC. We will be playing Rock'em Sock'em Robots, You've Got Mail, and Jet Fueled if there's time. Also in the show, if there's time here at the end, we've got another episode of King of the Bunker Hill. But I think before we get into a whole lot of our quests, we might want to check in with one of our great friends, our host of the Vault 97 show, West Vault Radio. We got a submission from our favorite show host, the King of the Bunker Hill, and she sent us in a nice message. So I think we might go ahead and take a listen to that, if I can get that pulled up here really quickly. So Susan, why don't you let us in?
Can't depend upon a robot love, yeah. Because I can't depend upon a robot love. I mean, because I can't depend upon a robot love. Because I can't depend upon a
Okay, so if Connie Francis wants a robot man for robot love, does she need the entire robot? Is the whole thing necessary? I'm going to be playing this song. I really probably should analyze the music further. Maybe this is a late night song. I don't know. Anyway, let's continue with what other things do I need to get in this audio diary? Ah, yes, the Wasteland Simulator. Okay. So I've been told that I need to prepare myself, even though I have no intention of leaving this vault, but I need to prepare myself for the Wasteland. So the good people of Vault Tech apparently created a Wasteland Simulator, which is lots of fun. You get to create a little avatar person that apparently you're supposed to assign attributes to, preferably different to yourself. So I gave it a go. I thought I would create a character, and I've called her Laura, and she is terrifically good looking because I feel Laura would be a very good looking individual.
Oh, this is great.
And she has been running around the wasteland. She had to go on some sort of very bizarre quest looking for her son and her dad, and it all got, to be honest, it all got quite confusing. In fact, actually, the whole simulator makes me terrifically confused. So I was told by Mr. W that if I maybe verbalized what I was doing, it would help me when I eventually go out into the wasteland, or I don't know, process issues or something like that. So what have I been up to? Well, Laura, she's quite keen on law and order. She's currently hanging around with Preston Garvey, because apparently not only is he a real person, he's also in the simulator. How did the people of Vault Tech know? So hanging around with Preston because I feel he is the best chance that we have for law and order. So let's see, what have we been doing? Well, I found myself getting involved with these raider types. Now, I've had to hold back killing everyone because personally raiders, that's probably what should happen to them. So, but instead I've let Laura run out the quests that they issue her just to see what happens, really. Bit of curiosity, never hurt anyone. So I was told to go and speak to a person called Spitball. Now, terrible feminist though I am, I assumed that would be a man. It turns out Spitball is not a man. Spitball is a woman wearing a mask as if she is traveling on the Beijing public transport system. But she told me that I need to take a robot named after one of their founding fathers. Why? Bizarre, but I suppose it teaches people about history, so that's good. Anyway, she said I need to take this robot and I need to go and fight him, which, as you can imagine, is a little bit barbaric. Robots are there to help us. They're not there to fight. But Laura does not have the same attachments to robots that I do. So she agreed to take this robot to fighting, but then she found out that she's then expected to throw a fight. Well, that's just not cricket. But it is my understanding that for the purpose of this simulator, I do need to go along with things. So despite my reservations on throwing a fight, which it's not sporting, just not sporting, I went to the place with my robot. I took the robot, or the robot went ahead of me. I can't quite remember. And so I got to this robot fighting arena. And I have to tell you, listeners, when I came in a health and safety, be damned in that place. I mean, there's a ring of sorts, but it's not fully caged in on either side. Is that the right word? Caged in? Roped in? Roped in? Is that what it is? Roped? So I walk in and an Assaultron just absolutely pulverizes a Mr. Handy model robot, completely pulverizes him. It did not seem fair, listeners. Really, really did not seem fair. Anyway, so I saw this happen and I was quite shocked. I actually started looking for my Mr. Whipple. That's the name of my robot, Whipple. Had a look for him. Couldn't find him. Then did find him after the announcer started saying that he was going to be in a fight. And at this point, I had to give some code words, and I hadn't honestly read the list, so I inadvertently sent him home. So yeah, so I had to restart. This time I did read the code words, and I think the first fight I was supposed to win. So he did. He's quite a good fighter. But I have to say, I felt really bad for the other robot. It just completely pulverized him to the point where, well, I suppose he'd only be good for parts. If he was down in Vault 97, that's certainly what I'd be doing with him. Anyway, so another fight takes place. This time I don't think my robot was involved. But now, then the announcement came for another fight. So I went in and found my opponent, and I sabotaged it so it would turn off as soon as it started fighting. And you see, the reason I did that, listeners, is because whilst I'd still win the fight, I wouldn't destroy the other robot, so he could be used again. And I think Laura, she's a good person, and I think she would approve of that way to play. Anyway, so that happened, and that was all jolly good fun. But then it came for me time to throw the fight. Now, I didn't really know what else to do, and those ghouls and not ghouls, raiders, they seem a little bit serious. So I didn't want to upset them. So whilst Laura does like law and order, her own survival does come first. So she simply threw the fight. Quite frankly, it's not one of my proudest moments, but Laura knows what's good for her. So she threw the fight, and everyone seemed quite happy. Spitball, doing some terrible acting about pretending to not know me and not understand my robots, said I'd done really well, and I should go back and speak to the raider leader chap and maybe do something else. So that was my adventure with the robots. So all in all, if that's what the Wasteland's like, it seems terribly cutthroat and not entirely fair.
Not fair at all, I would say.
I hope Laura's not in over her head here. I worry about her a little bit, that she sounds like a very lovely and innocent young woman. Probably has chosen well with Preston. Probably a good choice there to protect her in the Wasteland. But I worry about her health exposed to the Wasteland.
Yeah, she might not have the edge yet. She'll get it, man.
Yeah, she's a not very well thought out character.
She sounds perfectly realized to me.
Yeah, exactly.
She must have grown up in the Wasteland, so she should have some concept of what goes on there.
She's yeah, so in real life, she's my sort of she's actually my original kind of Fallout 4 character that I've just still got because I haven't had time to sort of get up another character, so I thought I'd just see how I'd play that as Susan. So that was that was quite fun to do and weird.
Backwards role playing.
Yeah, very strange.
Well, so Laura, is it? Do you know? Shalene has shared, I think, on her podcast that she always plays Shalene when she does a game, at least once. You know, I know she's done Forrest Gump and Fallout 4 and other things, but she's talked about. Do you always do a Laura?
I always do a Laura. Yeah, it's normally because I'm not the greatest gamer, so when it comes down to the first thing I always think to do is just like create yourself and go on and play as you and see what happens, which is normally I'm a bit of a run in guns blazing kind of person, so I'm a fan of heavy at the moment. I think she's been armed for quite some time with I think it's a laser Gatling rifle, but I renamed it quite early on to laser McPew-Pew. So so I have no idea what it actually. I've forgotten what its original name is. I don't know if you can like go back and find out if you go to an armament or weapons workbench.
No, I think once you rename it, it's gone forever.
Uh-oh.
Forever, yeah. So now it's laser McPew-Pew.
You just have to look at the drawing and be able to tell from the image.
It is, yeah, fairly so. I think I picked up another laser Gatling rifle, and they're the same thing. So I think mine's still quite modded. So yeah,
the Gatling laser is a lot of fun. You have it soaks up a lot of expensive ammo with the fusion core, but
yeah,
it's a fun way. I when in one of my playthroughs I picked up a wounding Gatling laser, which causes wound damage with every hit. So that's pretty effective because it's they stack, wounding will stack. So you're getting pulverized by Gatling laser and stacking bleeding damage at the same time. So that was a pretty fun special.
Yeah, I enjoy playing with it because it's because even though it's slow to start, but if you use VATS when it shoots sort of annoying warm up things, so it pretty much I've used use it, but my AP speed is quite high, so it's not too much of a problem, and so it's certainly sort of been enjoying all the first, certainly on Laura's.
It's big guns, strong like.
Yeah, it's a big gun. It's a big gun. She's a tiny person with a really big gun. So, yeah, I just like to every time I sort of because I very rarely sort of holster the weapon unless one of the Diamond City guards gets shitty with me. I tend to just I can't be bothered to holster the damn things. So I just think incredible holding that weapon. So it's good fun. So so she's Andrew said I need to mention this. I did the entire quest, like the standard quest run through with her, with no perks because I didn't realize you could pick perks up and without having leveled up all your specials beforehand when I started playing. So it was only quite late on did I realize that you could well, you didn't need to have all 10 in your special to get perks. So
before you could start.
But just think of how many perks did you get to assign? That would be fun, getting into assigning 15 or 20 perks all at once, or however many you had.
Be a lot, yeah.
I did level up. I did take the special stuff.
Okay. I see.
Yeah, so
okay.
no, I didn't not. Yeah, so I just did sort of standard stuff, and then I take any of the any of the other. Well, until I'd got 10 of the other categories, which much by the time I'd just completed the main quest on that one. So and now I just pick perks at random. And there's no logic to any of the well, aside from hacker and lockpick, every other perk.
So up to that point, Laura was a top shelf kind of girl.
Yeah, exactly, top shelf all the way.
That brings up an interesting strategy difference. Like, is it better to get a character that's flushed out and like has all of the specials like totally filled out, or you want to specialize and take different perks? I think that you can have a totally kick-ass character by not taking any perks and just maxing out all the specials. I think that's also a solid way to go.
Yeah,
it's tough. No, that's if you're trying to really do that, that's tough because you're not. Think about it. You're getting some more AP, and if you're doing melee, then you will do more damage. But if you're using guns, you're not improving your guns. You're not getting more gun damage. I think that's a pretty tricky build to take very far.
It just shows how tough she is, Pat.
I'm also a guns kind of person. Like I sort of again sort of could probably not have was for that one. It was very much just if I got given a weapon for a bit, then I dump it. I didn't really get overly attached. Aside from the one I've currently got, I didn't get overly attached to any weapons. I didn't really sort of mod them out weapons, and if they had sort of that were already kind of pre-modded, so she wasn't too into guns. But the good thing about the going through the specials was in terms of the AP is good and charisma. That I think quite early on I took most of the charisma. So conversation wise, I was doing early on in the game. So that was kind of a technique that worked. Yeah. So that one, but the Tales of the Commonwealth quests are lots of fun. I'm enjoying kind of doing one of them's quite work, but that might be something to do with some of the mods I've got running. I'm not sure. Like the first one with the house and stuff. What one's that called again?
Oh, I don't even remember.
That's crashed. I've not completed it, and it just doesn't seem to want to let me complete it. So, but I've moved on. Everything else is working. Well, so far the rest I think have worked. So, so I've done the rock. You've got mail and the like.
Hey, can you do me a quick favor, Laura? Could you please log off and then log back on? You're breaking up just a little bit. I want to see if we can get you a little bit of a stronger signal.
Yeah, no problem.
Awesome.
Stand by.
Hey, Pat, let's talk about your adventure through Rock and Sock and Robots. We heard about Susan, a.k.a. Laura's. That's so fun that she did it that way. their adventure. How did your character build affect your adventure through Rock?
So my character build, not so much. Me the player affects it. So here's my thing with Fallout. Anytime there's a new mechanic, I always completely screw it up the first time. I just don't get it right. And so the mechanic, if you remember for Rock'em Sock'em Robots, you get that note from Spitball, the charmingly named Spitball, and you're supposed to lead that. You meet the robot. So of course I'm doing fast travel, and that boxing gym is way the fuck over on the other side of the Commonwealth, right? So it is a real haul. So of course I don't try to walk there, and it's a meet the robot. So the robot goes over there to the other side, and you go to the boxing gym.
Where is it specifically?
It is in East Boston, not too
it's by the North Church.
Yeah, not too far from Old North Church, Shamrock Tap House, kind of over in that. I was glad. So my character's up in the level. When I was doing this quest, she was roughly level 55 or so, and I was glad she was pretty tough because that's a tough area. There's a lot of raiders. You can get some nasty Mirelurks. It can be a very tough area if you're not a relatively beefy character.
Yeah,
so.
It's real near the old corner bookstore too.
Yeah, right around in there, which is near Good Neighbor, kind of in that area. So I went in there, and so I said, okay, I watched. There was one fight that's kind of canned that goes on, so you can kind of see what the robots are doing, and say, okay, and there's the robots, and then you have to talk to your robot and see. Here's where the mechanic thing comes in. What I realized later was you're supposed to read that note. But in the vanilla game, the built-in Bethesda quest, when you get a note, you don't actually have to read the note because your quest log tells you what to do. You'll get a note and it says, it's like the BOS distress signal quest or whatever, and you read the note, and whether you read it or not, your quest log gets updated and tells you what you need to do, and your character basically sort of like gets like mental download of what's supposed to happen. But in this case, you're supposed to read that note, and then that tells you what you do, because basically you're supposed to throw one fight and beat one fight, and you do one thing if you want to beat the Assaultron or whatever. But I didn't realize that, so I was just sort of randomly mashing buttons, and so I mashed a button. In the first fight, I lost. The second fight, I managed to mash the right button, and so I whatever the first fight, whatever I was supposed to do, I screwed it up. The second fight, whatever I was supposed to do, I got it right by dumb luck.
And I did the same.
And then the third one, I got it wrong. But then when I went back to what's his name, Assface Bobby, he gave me the quest reward like I had done it right. So it was really kind of confusing. Yeah.
Well, I went the other way. I actually wrote down what the commands were and stuff.
Well, that's what you're supposed to do, but because no other quest works like that in the vanilla game, I didn't even think to read the damn note.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you don't normally have to.
Yeah, I'm with you, Pat. I did exactly the same. That's why I think I dismissed my robot the first time, though. So it just
I was exactly about to say that. I told him to go home.
Yeah, I told him to go home, and I was like, oh crap, better restart.
Oh, whoops, gotta reload.
Yeah.
Do you have a Geiger counter?
Yeah. I actually thought about reloading, but then I said, screw it. I'm just gonna press on.
I'm blanking. What's the answer to that question? I forget.
Mine's in the shop.
Oh, mine's in the shop. That's right. And that's the railroad password, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good shit.
Yeah, I really.
So I cut you off.
I didn't get the defense mode one. It says, "Tell me about those gorillas." I don't know what that's from.
Oh yeah, what were the different commands? Do you have those written down?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Being prepared.
Well, I was so behind last time. I had to do something. Anyway, for attack mode, it was "Death has come for you, and I am its shroud."
Silver shroud answer.
Yeah.
And then defense mode was "Tell me more about those gorillas."
Anything to do with the Institute when you're
that's
there?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
I would
You see the gorillas?
I never got that far in the Institute, so I don't know. And then surrender mode was you can't trust everyone.
Yeah, what's
So those are the different answers, and you have to do them in a specific order. Then,
Right. Right.
Right.
Because you need, and it had to do with whether the what the attributes of the robots were, because they said
Yeah.
Protectrons are slow,
okay, yeah,
so you attack. Gutsies are tough, but low energy, so you avoid them for a while. And then, fortunately, for the Assaultron, you needed to surrender. So
was that in,
throw the fight? It's so dirty.
was that in the note, or did Spitball tell you
I
this
think
stuff?
she told you that. She said you're supposed to throw the third fight.
Okay.
You win the first two, throw the third when they put a big bet down.
right.
Yeah, I was a bit annoyed that you can't. I mean, I don't know. Can you? Is there any? Can you try and? I suppose you lose because it's an assault tron. I suppose yeah, and you can't really do much with the robot. Because my first instinct when I got given the quest, I was like, it's just not cricket. You can't throw fights. It's just not the done thing. Screw you! I'm not going to throw your robot fight. And then I didn't really have much of a choice.
We have our William Whipple, of course, founding father, declaration signer, right?
I think.
Obviously, super meaningful to me.
I believe so. Yeah, you probably know about that, Laura. You might know more than half Americans anyway. But one of my favorite quotes, I actually jotted it down here. I don't remember if it was Spitball or William who actually said it, but they said, "Freedom and liberty are the principles of society. Now, where are my slaves?"
Yeah. That made me Google too.
I think that was what Willie Whipple said.
Well, Willie said that. Yeah,
Willie
I
said
think
that.
I think that's before you go to the gym. I think that was said in the cave.
I think he says it multiple times.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
I actually, yeah, I got a chuckle out of that one. So yeah, any notes on the voice actors or anything notable from the mod construction wise? Did this location exist in the game before this mod? Was the gym there?
I think so. I think that gym is there, but and you can go in it, but I don't think there's any people or quests or anything.
I'm always wondering that, and I always wonder, and I still don't know if I've ever gotten an answer, but I haven't looked into it too much. How does he do the voice protagonist stuff? Does he just take lines that are in the game already and sort of have to write backwards?
I think so. Yeah.
That's
Some
really
of them are
weird.
obvious, like the Shroud line, because the
Shroud, of course,
the
yeah.
Shroud. I think the other ones, the protagonist says a lot of shit, right? So I think, and there's the sound files are accessible because you see if you start loading mods, you'll see that there's people that talk about that because. Like the full dialogue interface option that shows, there's a text file associated with the full dialogue interface option that has every line of dialogue that the protagonist says, and that's accessible to the mod authors, so they back it up. Now, I thought maybe there's some mod authors who have taken that a step further and like stripped together and like actually edited the not just use an existing line of dialogue, but actually edited things together to get new lines of dialogue, which
wow.
That's a lot of time.
Yeah, that'd be pretty tricky because of tone and intonation and stuff.
They're pretty tenacious. A lot of the mod guys, their attention to detail is amazing. What they got with, so it wouldn't surprise me if one of them's going to do that soonish or has tried. I mean, I don't know. I'm doing a mod at the moment, some voice stuff for it, and I'll have to ask the guy who's creating it because it's like I'm doing like a companion voice, so there's a lot of responses. So I don't know whether how are you doing this? Because I don't know if he's written them backwards or.
Isn't that how all of Westvault Radio's done?
Westvault Radio is me generally on some kind of energy drink or alcohol-fueled rant most of the time. It's a sort of fever dream state most of the time that gets into it. We don't script it all that often. But the protagonist voice, because I'm just thinking about the stuff I'm doing at the moment. I'm just thinking, is any of this stuff? How would they respond to it? I can't. Because it's completely different what I'm doing. Like it's not sort of part of the main game at all. Yeah. So Yeah, it's not part of the main game at all. He's creating like a whole separate map, that kind of stuff. So it's
wow.
very very out there. So I don't know how he's doing the voice.
Those are always interesting to play. I've only played a couple of the different ones that sort of create a new different map zone, a new different world. Those are always fun to see a different person take.
The two that Victor's talked about on the Facebook group, where they enhance Ten Pines and Sunshine Tidings, those are both quite good. It's as though it were a new. I mean, what the mod author's done is just built a very elaborate settlement, very elaborate settlement, including some quest elements on those two existing settlements. So those are pretty clever because they're using sort of in-game resource. In theory, geez, those I don't know if those might even be theoretically doable on PS4 because they use. I'm not sure. I think Sunshine Tidings may use some things that aren't in the vanilla game.
I don't think you can use anything that's scripted. So you probably couldn't do a quest.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that. Well, I'm not sure though, because you can't use assets. I'm not sure whether you can't use scripts or not. I know you can't. Like you can't upload a new sound file or a new texture or a new mesh. But I'm not sure about scripts. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Hey, Pat. Before we get too far away from it, why don't you go ahead and give a solid plug for Victor's show?
Oh yeah, that's right. ASA Mod Talk. Victor, you guys may remember we talked about it a while back. Victor and Kyle did a first couple of episodes. Had to go on hiatus due to some technical logistical issues for a little bit, but Victor has brought it back. I think he's dropped maybe 3 episodes, including one kind of quickie episode and one really in-depth episode where he did a really nice exploration of some different mods available. I think he's done one that was kind of a deep dive into Skyrim. I forget exactly because we talked about mods so much with Victor. I forget what's on his show, but it is absolutely worth a listen. That's available. Let's see. ASA Mod Talk. It is not on Michael's TalkShoe feed, but I'm pretty sure. Andrew, is it linked on ASA Podcasting? I believe it is.
I'm not getting it through.
I'm in the process of linking that in
through a podcatcher that I'm using. I'm not getting. I got the first couple, but I haven't gotten anything since then.
Yeah, I think he's got maybe 4 episodes or something. It's got a. I grabbed the RSS link directly and dropped that in my podcatcher, and I wasn't having any issues. Anyway, absolutely check out ASA Mod Talk.
You can find the all of his episodes and everything at www.theopen.world/modtalk. That's where you can find all that stuff.
Theopen.world.
Isn't that weird? How does that work?
Well, it's anything can be an URL now. It's that's how like porn sites have XXX, and I've seen one that's there's an airplane website I saw that was .aero for aeronautics or whatever. So there's anything can be an URL anymore.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so the open.world/mod talk. Check it out, everyone. ASA Mod Talk. Victor puts a lot of good work into his show there. So Lee, what did you have any other interesting aspects of Rock'em Sock'em Robots that you think we should mention?
No, just that I'd taken note of the commands and the I'll call them call-in responses that you needed to do.
Yeah. So what was the appropriate order that we were supposed to do them in? I think you're supposed to hack or sabotage a robot. I sabotaged the first opposing fighter. Let's sabotage the second one. You had to have hacker level 1 for that second one, or you could still sabotage. No, hacker level 1 to sabotage. So I already have like hacker level 4, so I sabotaged the robot again. And it says, guys, I had a question about this. I wrote a little note here. You have the opportunity here, it says in the menu, to jury rig Brass Joe. If you have an intelligence of +4, you can cross the wires to jury, jury rig Brass Joe. Is that weird?
That is a very commonly used mechanic in New Vegas. A lot, where you have intelligence or repair will let you jury rig things. So the New Vegas mods or New Vegas quest or task will often have that. If you have a certain level of repair or intelligence or explosives or whatever, you can do the thing. You can do the thing without any knowledge or equipment or anything else. But if you don't have the specific set of skills or intelligence or whatever, you have to go do on a fetch quest and go find a fuse or go find some wires or what. It's similar to the last voyage of the USS Constitution of Fallout 4 is the same way. All that shit you have to fix on the ship. If you have a high enough intelligence or repair, you can just do it. But if you don't, you have to go find the stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's what I did for mine. Where I'd say sabotage a robot. I think that's what I ended up doing. I think I got the option to jerry rig, so I just did. I think I could have done both, but I think I was given the option. So I like to bosh things, so that's what I did.
So does everybody know the origin of the name of the quest?
Rock'em Sock'em Robot is
toy?
Is everybody familiar with the toy?
Yeah.
I never.
Lee, you and I are old enough to be familiar with the toy. So not all the listeners, and I wasn't sure if all the hosts were old enough. That's
Yeah, I think I saw it in an antique store one time. It's fine.
Yeah, see, it's an antique. See, these cheeky young people, and they're. Oh my goodness.
She is so kind.
You kids, get off my lawn.
I've definitely, I'm familiar with what it is, but I never owned one.
Yeah. I that was one of those toys as a kid that I didn't own it either, but it was always flogged mercilessly on Saturday morning cartoons. So right. I would always be really jealous of all my friends that had one.
That's what all childhood is about, right? Jealousy.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah, I never got Buckaroo, so I feel very hard done by it.
Yeah. So I finished out I jury rig Brass Joe. Use a paper clip from Spitball. You speak as the Shroud, and you say the line, "Eliminating all the redcoats." You watch another fight. You're watching the fight. And you sabotage the next opponent. They have to have the level 2 hacker the next time. Then the next one, you use the code word, "Tell me about the gorillas." You watch the next fight. Then the opponent immediately deactivates. Then for the next announcement, you wait for the next announcement. Then you put in, Willie into surrender mode. And then your next command is "You can't trust anyone," and he immediately deactivates. Then you return to Bobby for 400 caps and 500 XP. Because what were they really doing here? They were rigging up the fight so that Willie took a dive in the last. They said, "Oh wow, he whooped ass the first 2 fights, so Willie's gonna totally kick ass this 3rd fight." And then you tell Willie to take a dive, and therefore you're sort of odds. With the house,
right?
It's just not cricket. You can't do that.
Speaking of cricket,
sorry,
you only got 300.
I only got 372 XP.
Oh,
they didn't
wow!
like me as much as they like you.
I wonder what our intelligence level is. See, whenever I turn in my quest, I always switch over to all my intelligence gear to try to get a lot of XP.
Ah.
Yeah. Speaking of cricket, Laura, you were telling me about a cricket mod that you found that you thought would be appropriate for Susan. So I loaded it. It adds a cricket bat to the weapons that it basically is built on the baseball bat structure, but it's a cricket bat, and it has different versions, barbed wire and powered and stuff like that. But I loaded it 2 weeks ago. I've been looking for it everywhere. I even went to Diamond City to the baseball bat dealer. I thought, of course, he'll have one. If anyone, I still haven't run across it anywhere in the whole damn wasteland. I've been looking for it forever. And so I admitted to you earlier today, as soon as I stop looking for it, of course, is when it'll pop up.
Yeah, I think it was like a featured mod on the Xbox that day, and I just thought, yes, character clearly needs to have in her life fulfillment. And it's a disappointment. Kind of make Because it's reading. I haven't got it myself, but reading it sounds like just anytime a baseball bat is used, you'll get one. But then I was just thinking myself, it's like, when was the last time I got attacked with a? I think one time I got attacked with a baseball bat, and it was again one of those classic Fallout logic moments. It was like, you've just seen me destroy about 50 raiders, and you think a baseball bat's going to work right now. It's like I should make an example out of you.
My laser Gatling gun is still spinning, and yet you approach
with a baseball bat. So well, I know that they don't seem to be. I think I don't know, as higher up you get, the less common baseball bats are used as a sort of like a melee weapon against you. I don't know, is that the way it works?
I'm finally starting to get lots of swords and stuff like that, because I know you suggested Susan would use a sword.
Love swords. Gotta love a sword.
Finally getting lots of like revolutionary swords and Chinese officer swords and stuff like that falling out.
I think those things are too slow.
Yeah, they do okay damage, but I need to invest in. What would I need to? Blacksmith or something in order to improve melee weapons?
Yep, blacksmith.
And armor is different. Blacksmith and armor should be combined into one, I think. That's bullshit that they're separate.
That would be unbalancing, though, Andrew.
Oh, come on. That is my main objective in the game.
Just cheat and give yourself 4 perk points, and then you can just do the. See, that's the beauty about the cheater mods. If you think something should behave differently, you just use the cheater mod and make it behave that way. Just give yourself 4 perk points on a blacksmith.
Just cheat, Pat.
There you go. Go for it.
Learn in life. Just cheat. Good call, Pat.
Yeah, here you made all those rubber mats in survival mode. You could have just magicked them in.
And that's not cheating. That's exploiting. Hey, Lee, last time we were together, you corrected me on my pronunciation of a particular N-word city in Massachusetts. I said Nahant. You said
Nahant.
Nahant? Is that right?
Nahant. Yeah, I had an uncle who lived on Nahant.
All right, so let's take a magical trip over to Nahant with You've Got Mail, Lee. Let's put on our magical postman hat and take a trip. What did you get into over there?
Well, first off, the instructions given by the mod author had a typo in them, and so I went to the Nahant Police Department, not the post office.
Yes, this was quite a little bit of confusion. All I've done is I just blindly believe that the mod author was just kind of giving us a general hint instead of a specific location or something, maybe. So I was just kind of
and if I thought, sorry,
I said I just copied about. I just copied and pasted from this webpage right onto ours, and it's not so correct. So it was kind of misleading. Some people weren't able to find specific locations where some of the quests were starting. So I had Pat nailed down where some of the starting locations were actually at, and so I corrected the webpage. So now the hints are actually accurate. But I will need you guys' hint out there if you're playing a little bit ahead of us and you find that the Tales quest or the locations are actually a little off. Go ahead and let me know so I can update the website for everybody when we get to that point, because Lee was lost. I was a little lost. I know Pat was like, huh? What? Where are these things? So
I'm very literal with things like that. So when it said south, I looked south, and it wasn't there. It was southeast.
Yeah. If any of us had thought about the name of the quest, we'd have thought maybe the post office.
Yeah. Well, no, the post office. I twigged to that one. I will claim credit for getting that one pretty quickly. Yeah. It's like, oh wait, you've got mail. It must be the post office. But
I did find out that when I was at the police station that it's the terminal there that mentions Sheriff Taylor.
Ah, nice.
Oh, yeah. Do they?
Yeah, because that's the sheriff office. It's not a police department, right?
Right.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's the county jurisdiction out there.
And in that sheriff's office, you also find a dead settler in a postman's uniform, so that helped confuse things too.
No. Well, that postman is a random encounter that can happen in different places.
Oh, okay.
I found it, for example, in near the BADTFL in Boston proper.
What does that stand for again?
Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Drugs, Firearms, and Lasers.
Lasers. That's.
I got but the L is lasers, which I think is just a riot.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, sorry, Lee.
There's tobacco in there. Sorry, tobacco. Also.
We're you found a nice mailman uniform. Those are great. I think hat gives you perception, and the uniform gives you perception and charisma, perhaps? I don't remember exactly.
I think at least one of them is endurance.
Endurance. Oh, maybe.
Yeah, that would make sense for the uniform.
Yeah, for walking.
Yeah.
So sorry, Lee, where were we going to Nahant?
Oh, that's fine. The you end up at the post office and you meet somebody named Marion Taylor. She's concerned about her father. I think his name's Fred, because she asked him to deliver a letter, and he decided this was his calling, and he's going to be the postman for the wasteland. And she's really worried about him, so she wants to. She had heard that the CIT had developed a thing that worked with terminals to send a mail between people, what she called terminal mail or T-mail.
T-mail. That gave me a giggle. I thought that was really funny.
I think she's being harsh on her dad. He's clearly having a midlife crisis. She just needs to let him, ride it out. He can't buy a sports car. He just needs to get this out of his system. But
Well, maybe she
some
found the
needs therein,
dead
I suppose.
postman too.
Well, I think she says she made the outfit, doesn't she? She's like, I think
Yeah.
she says she made it rather than it's not like he didn't Kevin Costner his way out of that one. He, she made it for him. So it's like she's enabling it. So I don't, she's only got herself to blame.
Yeah, I have a little more to say on that later, but she wanted you to go find some network cards at the CIT.
Yes.
And somehow, magically, she knew that where a couple of them were and sent you to get them. One of them, and in fact, one of them was in the Cambridge police station.
How did she know what she knew?
No idea.
Like, didn't she say something like she knew that the students at the college were using this interconnected terminal network in order to deal drugs too?
She read that in the paper, didn't she? That's how she knew
Oh, that could be, yeah.
That was, she said she picked up the paper and it talked about a drug bust the students. So I'm assuming it's somewhere said maybe in the article they were using it via T-mail or whatever, I guess.
Yeah. So the other one's
I think it's kind of explained.
Yeah, the other one's in the dormitory, so that's students.
Okay, so where was the first one you said? It was over at the police station, right? Where you run into Dance and those other doofuses in the Brotherhood?
Right. And because I've been playing Brotherhood of Steel, that police station was just crawling with Brotherhood at this point. But of course, you're one of them, or I was, because I was, supposed to have Dance as a companion. Yeah. So
have you?
I went in there, and among other things that I found another Winter's holotape, Eddie Winter's holotape.
Yeah.
And I found Scribe Halen's personal log. Yeah, in it she doubts the Brotherhood's motives and confesses to a tendency to violence.
Nice.
That's not the Scribe Halen we met.
I knew that I liked her.
Doesn't she get all schmoopy with what's his name, the idiot that she's hanging out with Dance?
The other Quest.
Yeah, the Radiant Quest guy. Yeah, I hate him.
Yeah, the guy who never trusts you.
Yeah. Well, no, there is. If you get all the way, if you beat the game and get all the way to Sentinel, and you get the whole Brotherhood of Steel, loving on you a lot. He has one speech where he says, "Oh, I was so wrong about you," blah 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 blah. And then immediately the next time we talk to him, he's back with his attitude with his Radiant Quest stuff. So it's really kind of comical that he's all like, "Oh, I was wrong about you," and you're the best, and I hope I can be as good as you someday. And then the next time he's like all up in your grill with the Radiant Quest.
That was my problem.
Put on his front.
That was my main problem. They try to do the love interaction between those two, and he keeps I don't know. Is the Brotherhood like the Jedi? Like they're not allowed to take lovers or something like that? Because he kept saying, "Oh no, I love you," but no, my heart is dedicated to the Brotherhood. No, but I love you. But no, we can't do this because the Brotherhood. My heart belongs to this power armor suit. Is there some law in the Brotherhood that they're not allowed to take?
It's supposed to be the military, Andrew. I mean, when you start bashing on the Brotherhood of Steel, it's like no other Radiant Quest is all up in your grill. Preston and Des, they no other group gets all up in your grill saying, "Oh, you need to do this, and if you only did this, we'd love you more," and just latch onto us. Brotherhood of Steel hate. Stop it.
No, they're worth hating. Dennis, welcome to the show. How are you doing tonight, man? What's going on?
I am lovely, Andrew. How are you?
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad you could join us. I thought that you had to work tonight, but it's so awesome that you had the opportunity to hop on. That's okay.
Well, like I said, my radar perked up when I heard all the Brotherhood of Steel hate, and I was rushing to my computer to defend the Brotherhood.
Well, that was quick. Wow, that's great. So Lee was actually just talking about some of our quests. Dennis, did you have the opportunity to do these Tales from the Commonwealth quest? You actually said you had a success in getting it loaded into your computer and all that. So have you? I know work schedule's been hectic and stuff, but have you actually had opportunity to play some of our quests?
I've done a couple of them. I don't know that I'm quite caught up though. I've gone in and started the Postman stuff, but I haven't had an opportunity to complete it.
No, that's awesome. That's great. Well, no, that did you have anything with the previous one, Rock'em Sock'em Robots? Anything memorable that happened in that quest with the robot fighting gym and the setting up the Willy Whipple takes a knee?
No, I had a lot of crashes.
Oh yeah.
Every step, every section of that quest, I was just getting a lot of crashes. So, that's overly memorable, unfortunately.
That's interesting. I haven't had a ton of trouble with any of the Tales quests, stability wise. There was a little bit earlier on our last quest that we'll get into this evening. When I went over to Hallucinogen, I had to reload once just because when I stepped in the door, everything started like shaking and going like 2 frames per second, like really slow and jerky. But once I reloaded, everything was totally fine. So that was the only instance of glitchiness really that I've had with these Tales from the Commonwealth.
Yeah, I've had I can't ascribe it to anything in particular, but I've had several frame rate crashes because I think the base game on Xbox will crash more often as you get to be higher levels because there's just more shit it has to keep track of, the more stuff you've done and more more moving parts and everything else. But then on top of that, I don't recall ever getting frame rate issues before. So I won't necessarily say it's Tales because it may or may not be, but I think one of the mods that I've got loaded I think is giving me like once a play session, I'll have a frame rate crash and I'll have to do a hard reboot because the game just slows down. Like 2 frames a second or whatever.
No, in all fairness to Tales, it's probably not Tales. It's probably the other 99.99 repeating mods that I have loaded in the absolute wrong load order, and where Victor would be like, well, if you use loot and if you figured out how to do it properly, no, I'm just throwing them all in there willy nilly, I'd like to blame Tales, but I'm sure it's not Tales.
Yeah. Go on, Laura.
And I was just going to say, weirdly enough, the one mod that really crashes mine is if I attempt to, fuel my ego by playing the Wistful Radio mod. My Xbox does not like that, which serves me right. I should not be that egotistical and listen to myself whilst in game. So unfortunately, I have to kind of turn off. In fact, it's the other mods, the other Boston ones as well. It doesn't like very much. Yeah. So I don't know if that's anything to do with I don't know if that's anything to do with my sort of load order or whatnot. I don't really understand it, to be honest.
Yeah, on the PC, I've never had any trouble with frame rate, but the problem I have that comes up fairly often is when you change areas and you've got that load screen, sometimes it just never comes back.
Oh, really?
But I have had loot fix some things for me on occasion. But, a lot of people have said that load thing can happen too if you do lots of saves, and so it's having to keep track of all these different files and stuff. But
yeah,
I don't know. What I end up having to do is kill the game and then reboot and reload, and then it's better for a while, and then it goes to hell again. And it's a never-ending cycle.
How often do you go back through and purge your backlog of saves?
About once a week now, because of that.
Yeah, I found that with the survival mode save options mod that I'm using, I only have like a certain amount of save space, which I think is a lower amount of save space if I weren't using that mod and not playing survival mode, but just doing a normal save style for like a normal mode.
Mhm.
I think for some reason the mod allows less of a save space, so I'm finding myself fairly frequently having to go back through and deleting a lot of like back saves, because not only because I was in survival mode for a long time, so I kind of got used to not saving at all, and so I would forget sometimes to use the mechanics. So I went back in and said, okay, so every 15 minutes or something, I'll set it up to save. And then I went back in and I was like, oh man, that's not quite frequent. So every time I go into a door, every time I quicks it, so now I've got it saving every freaking 30 seconds, and it's actually bogging my game. I need to go back and like remove some of the times that it's saving.
Yeah, if I saved before I went through doors that might be into another area, I'd be a lot better off. Because then if it decided not to come back, then I'd be right there at the door again.
Right there, ready. See, I always try to remember to do that, but then it's, you just get into a groove, and then you step into that door, and you're like, oh crap, oh, I should have saved before, and then that's the time when it crashes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I did have one other thing happen with the You've Got Mail, but it wasn't a case of the mod having a problem or me doing anything wrong. It was just a case of extremely bad luck.
Yeah, we definitely need to finish You Got Mail here, but we where were we? You were in a Cambridge police station. We got one. I don't even know if we talked about the dorm or the station. Where was it a network card or something? Where was the network card at the police station?
It was on the same floor that you walk in on, but it was in one of the back rooms. If you go in and turn left and then right again and back in there, there's a area that has a couple of cells in it, and I think it was back in there in one of the desks or something.
See, yes, I think that's right. I think I got a bit annoyed that it wasn't in like evidence lockup, which I think for some reason in my head that would have made a lot more sense to be there, given that it's
I was there too.
evidence.
It was just in some like utility room with like the mops and sinks or something. It was weird.
It's just poor evidence handling management, guys. Come on, get it together. Get it together. That would not go anywhere in court.
No, nowhere at all.
No standards.
There's no chain of custody with that. Yeah. So what else, Lee? What are we getting into with You've Got Mail?
Well, the second one was in the CIT dorm, and I didn't really take many notes on that. I just mentioned tripwire, can chimes, raiders, and a turret. And the third floor has an inaccessible door, so I don't know what that might be up there.
What's that about?
I got no idea.
What's behind the door?
Yeah, behind the door. The secret door.
I don't know. Pat, did you find this inaccessible door? Is there a back way to unlock it somewhere?
I did not. I did not recall. Oh no, I do recall it. Yeah, I did get to it, and I did not explore it. I wasn't really too bothered about this quest, so I just kind of wanted to plow through it. It was a little basic, unfortunately.
I think that's awesome. If I was a mod author, I would do that all day. Have inaccessible doors or things you could lock pick for like 4 hours and wouldn't open just to piss people off. It's like it's a red herring. It's like everybody will go on Reddit and talk for like 14 hours about what could it be and how can you get in there and what's the special way you have to do it. It's a little bit of intrigue. It's annoying, but I think it's cool. For the older Bethesda games, they dropped a couple of those in there, and they're notorious, and they kind of got away from it because they got tired of people yelling at them about it.
That's fun.
Yeah, after 2 hours lockpicking, you get 1 10mm round.
Exactly.
Well, it's like the logic. I think I've seen like a car cartoon about like their safe logic. You know, it's like, oh, I've got this new safe. What should I put? You know, it's like back in 2077. What should I put in it? Here's some cash, some ammo, and a plastic fork. You know, you know, like you do. I do sometimes, like, you know, open boxes and stuff. And you are like, what? It's like same with the stuff that feral ghouls pick up. You know, like
Yeah.
a small toy. You're like, I feel like there's probably a really sad backstory to that. Like, you know, every time I find one with a
Yeah, two ball.
yeah, like yeah. They're like the child's, yeah, they're like, or you know, like a hairbrush. You're like, you haven't got hair. Why have you got a hairbrush?
Well, every feral ghoul worked for a bank because they're the ones that have all the caps. Every time you kill a feral ghoul, they've always got money.
But nobody will sell to them. That's why they still have it.
Exactly.
So I don't know, was I the only person who went into the CIT dorm rooms and the first joke that came? Like this before or after the bombs? Because it was a dorm room, you know. You guys like, would we notice? It's like,
No difference.
No, yeah, I doubt there was any difference.
I don't know if I didn't find the inaccessible door or if I miraculously found the back way through it or something. I didn't notice. So most likely I didn't even find it. So I said travel to the CIT dorms directly west of Kendall Hospital. Fight raiders up to 3rd floor. Find the terminal network card on the desk next to the student terminal. So yeah, just
That's
find
right.
the student terminal there. And yeah, my second card was over at the Cambridge Police Station. I hadn't even talked to Dance yet. This was the first time I'd been there. You know, I mean, of course, you know my love of the Brotherhood, but I was surprised. Out of all the places I've discovered so far in the game, I still hadn't been to the police station yet. That was surprising to me.
So were there a bunch of people there, or just the 3 or 4 that are there when you normally find at first?
The bare bones folks, like the 2 raid request people, and then a bunch of ghouls attacked when we ran in. You know, and you know I'm level. Am I 60? Yeah, I'm 61 right now. So I'm getting some pretty nasty leveled feral bloated ghouls and stuff that are coming out of all the places.
Ouch.
Just,
well, you're level 61 with how many followers? So that makes you really like level 250.
Well, someone pointed out to me the other day that there's this new follower mod that I really want to check out. I don't know if it would. You know, my game is pretty crippled, at least in the build mode sense, and the settler mode, the sort of like the settler establishment building, all that stuff. I've just kind of sort of set to the wayside, and I'm really concentrating on quests, which is kind of a different way of playing for me because you know I'm a big SimCity type fan, so I always like playing all the build mod and stuff. So it's interesting to be really, really quest oriented and having to find lots of different quests to play instead of having to fill lots of game time with buildings. I always enjoyed doing that, but no, it's been good to have to these bugs are sort of blessings in a way, if you will.
So anyway, you get to the easy part of the quest, right? Turning it in. So yeah. I went back to see Marion, and immediately when I walk into the post office, I've got 3 super mutants on top of me, and one of them's a suicider.
Inside?
Inside.
Inside?
Inside. Or it's like they were, partly inside and outside, and they were coming in or something. And the suicider killed Frank Taylor.
Oh,
so that loses the quest for you right there. Because her whole point was that she wanted to protect her father. So I ended up having to reload that, and so then what I did was I fast traveled to Croup Manor, and I derped around there a little bit, and then I went back to the I fast traveled to the post office, and this time outside of it I got a bunch of raiders instead of the super mutants, and so so I just went inside and it was fine. I was able to finish the quest then.
I don't think I had any bad guys spawn.
So weird.
That's hilarious.
I had super mutants.
A suicider, though, inside that tiny little post office room. You had no chance.
Yep. Yeah, we were all pretty well cooked.
Amazing. Oh, that's great. Yeah,
200 caps and 248 XP.
yeah, that's fun. You also get a postman uniform and a hat.
Yep.
Is that a second one? Can you also get one from the police station? Pat or Lee mentioned earlier. You also get one.
Well, he was saying that was a random one. So
Yeah, that one can. That
Okay.
Lee, did he have letters in his bag, in his postman's bag?
yes, and I actually wrote notes about them.
Yeah, yeah.
How terrible is that? Let's see. Sharon left Larry for a ghoul named Paulo. Was one of the letters.
Oh, that bastard Paolo.
Poor Larry. Come on.
I wonder if it was Crazy Larry.
Yeah, maybe it was. Good old Crazy Larry, who will be featuring in the next episode of Westport Radio.
All right.
Plug.
And there was a letter to Frank about money owed to you know who, and you know who knew where Frank lived. So it was a warning saying he wanted his money, whoever it was.
But this wasn't Frank Marion's dad, Frank.
I don't know.
That would be fun if it was.
Maybe there's a whole nother mod in there.
Yeah, got a shakedown going on here or something.
Yeah. And then the third one was somebody named Eris had written a note to somebody named Cole that said, "You'll be better off just staying in Good Neighbor. It's too dangerous out here."
It is. That's
Like
gonna
good
be.
neighbors not.
That's right. That's right.
Like
It's
good
only
neighbors
what you-
safe.
It's only what you're used to, right?
The mayor will stab you in the gut and do not
For
care.
being rude.
Well, not if you don't cross him, you know.
Just don't cross him, and he won't stab you in the gut. What are you gonna do? Pat, did you have any closing thoughts on You've Got Mail?
No, I think you guys hit it.
All right, sounds good. With my intelligence boosting clothes and stuff like that, I actually got up to 336 XP. I recommend the outfit switcher. I'm getting good at it, Pat. You know, I had such a hard time getting used to it, but
Yeah, no, it's if you want to be really on top of that, yeah, you can. I mean, lots of things. You get more quest XP. You can do more conversations, get better vendor prices. Yeah.
there's one elusive piece of clothing that I've been in search for, though. Can anyone recommend a good piece of intelligence eyewear? I thought like just black rim glasses would be.
That's charisma.
Those are like perception or charisma or something.
There's one pair of glasses somewhere that I think does intelligence.
Yes, Pat. Please don't tell me the ones that I've looked up.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. You've already okay. Well, see, I was going. Okay, why are you asking us if you've already looked them up?
I'm just saying, is there any other ones? Because the only ones that I found are one specific pair that belong to one scientist on a side quest for the Institute. But I'm saying, don't tell me that it's that only pair in the game, because you know I told you
Okay, I won't tell you.
My main quest is bugged. I can't play through the main quest, so I can't get to the Institute to get those fucking glasses.
Okay, we won't tell you that those are the only glasses that increase your intelligence.
We also won't mention you can console them in.
Yeah.
Oh, you
Go to Far Harbor and get the stupid steam hat thing that gives you more intelligence when you have rads.
And I have the Mechanist's helmet, which does give you more intelligence. So that is kind of my headpiece. But I was hoping to have a hat that gives you intelligence and eyewear that gives you intelligence to kind of double dip the head zone.
So for that one intelligence on the eyewear, the 10%. So you're really aching for that extra 30 XP on a quest turn in. Damn, Andrew, I thought I was a power gamer. You take the cake, baby.
This is
Susan's not smart. Don't worry about it.
I was going to say, yeah, if he's playing as Susan, I mean, you know, what does she need more intelligence for? She's already
Susan's
perfect.
interesting. Step back a minute and just look at the XP gained throughout the whole season of a Roundtable. Dennis, my first couple of Roundtable characters ended at level 60 something. We're less than halfway through this Roundtable and my character's already past level 60. You know, this if you play survival mode, it's amazing how much XP you get for everything. And then if I do that intelligence with a little extra, 13% extra XP or whatever stupid little boost I get, then it's just outrageous how much XP you get from playing survival mode. It's great.
I'm not telling you not to do it, Andrew. I'm just surprised that you're focused on it. Just be sure you eat your squirrel stew, baby.
But no, that is exactly the type of tips I need, because I forget. Are there other food items besides squirrel stew that boost intelligence?
No, a squirrel stew is XP gain for 2 hours, and that's 2 hours of regular time, not in-game time.
Oh, that's good. Good.
Wow.
And Dennis knows all our food items. Man.
Well, that would be the face-off between me and Pat, because I'm pretty sure Pat knows is deep in the food items too.
Yeah, use survival mode, guys. I still feel like a baby at survival mode. You know, this is I dabbled a little bit with a previous character, but this character.
You're level 60 now, Andrew. Pat's kicked you out of the house. He's nailed your plate to the wall. You're on your own now.
Baby bird can fly, I guess.
That's right.
You know,
Must not be doing too bad.
I'm still not good at chems and food. Those are the aspects of survival mode that you really need to embrace in order to get a full survival mode.
I'm hitting the chems hard in this playthrough. I'm really having a good time with the psycho.
Just say no. Just say no.
That's what I usually do, but I feel, this I figure, like, I'm playing this kind of like a whacked out synth character. She's just gonna hit the chem. She's gonna be like, Tinker Tom, hit the chems way too hard.
Oh, nice.
Well, I'm sure anybody that's listening to this, but another quick plug for Pat's Let's Play. Arthur is all about the chem.
Right.
So.
That's what I was going to say. I figured Arthur just poisoned him.
Well, it's different. It's different chems, right? So that's the other thing. I had not played with the chems in Fallout 4 very much. So, you're talking about hitting the chem station. You can make your buff tats and your psycho jet, but I think Psycho Jet's great because you get the jet effect and more damage at the same time. It's great.
Yeah, that's great. The speaking, this will lead us nicely into our next quest. But speaking of chems, I was just playing earlier today. I was reminded playing our next quest that Jet comes from Brahmin shit, and I was just like, oh god, I forgot about that. That is so hilarious because there's a scene in our next quest where someone's like shaking up an inhaler and just huffing it over and over again. Such breath later on. That's so disgusting. What is that in the real world? Doesn't that exist? Like they catch it in a balloon or something.
There's nitrous oxide.
Yeah, no, but there's something other than
well,
that.
there's you can huff like modeling glue or whatever, right? There's lots of stuff you can inhale if you really want to get into it.
Pat, no.
Just say no, kids.
Let's get into some Jet, though. Was there any other aspects of You've Got Mail that you guys wanted to cover? Were there any interesting weapons or treasures or anything acquired? Legendary? What sort of stuff are you picking up these days? You getting any interesting weapons from legendary drops, Pat and Lee?
No, I'm using hardcore with Kellogg's 44 and Deliverer, so I'm staying really hardcore with those.
Yeah, that's so maddening to me. I can't use those super slow shot like 5 round.
Yeah, but Kellogg's, I figured out the trick of how it works. Because you fire off a cylinder, right? You empty the cylinder, and depending on what your luck is, for mine, it's just about exactly right. Those 6 bullets will get me a crit. I'll hit the crit, and then that'll refill my action points. So I basically, you can kind of cycle through that with Kellogg's gun. So I knew it was good, but I really I have it a much better tuned in for fine-tuned for this playthrough.
Yeah, and I think I mentioned it last week, but there's also that reload after you shoot the last round in the clip.
Fast hands, yeah.
That would work really well too with that.
Yeah, mine doesn't line up so well in that the 5 and 6 shot guns. I just can't handle them. Oh. I do have some of the pistol perks though, and so I've got a tricked out 10 millimeter that does a surprising amount of damage.
More so than Deliver. Doesn't Deliver have some weird extra damage perk or something?
Could be, but I can't take the cycle time on it. I'd rather go bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
And then still have 6 shots.
Yeah, my favorite thing. Pistols are fine. I use them sometimes, but rarely. I like a drum magazine. Like I'm a big ammo kind of guy. Just like pump a lot of shots at once without having to reload. Hopefully, get them down without having to put more bullets in. I guess
Yeah, I agree.
You vanilla guys are so quaint. I'm using the modern firearms mod, and I've got some weird, wacky Israeli semi-automatic rifle that just makes huge, disgusting, big sounds, and it's just such a pleasure to fire. I don't care.
Huge clouds of carnage, huh?
Does it have
Exactly. And there's another mod that adds weapon smoke. And it's just big plumes of smoke with big cartridges and ammo everywhere. It's insane.
That's awesome.
Glorious.
Does it have that cool banana clip
I'm with
on
Andrew.
the side? That's always been my favorite.
Never mind that I'm shooting 600 rounds a second. But that deliverer at 5 shots, it's a beautiful weapon. It's cute.
I've been trying to expand my usage of weapons, and all of that I've used the last basically week and a half, 2 weeks, is only the power fist. I've been leaving all my ammo and weapons at home even, and just been solely power fist because I went ahead and tried to finish out my assignments through my perks and get all of my perks maxed out. I still have a couple that I haven't gotten quite maxed out, but one that I did finish was Iron Fist. And if you finish Iron Fist and have the Swans, whatever his perk is, Iron Fist, and it's really fun. It's pretty brutal.
If you're using that in Blitz, I mean, you get the big Juan Diaz double thumbs up on that one. He's always been a big believer in the power fist.
Will Blitz work with the power fist?
No, it will not.
Really? I thought it did.
No, Blitz. The power fist is a quote unquote unarmed.
Yeah, that's why it'll work with the Iron Fist.
I thought the unofficial patch fixed that.
I don't play with an unofficial patch because it seems like every time I load it, it introduces more bugs than it fixes.
I've taken it off, and Victor also recommended that I take it off, so that's why I did.
Yeah, I think I did as well.
Yeah, I don't know.
Which is a shame because they put a lot of work into it, but it just seems like it's I don't know if it interacts badly with other mods or what the situation is, but I don't know for sure, Andrew, but you and I were both running unofficial. I was doing it on PC and you were doing it on Xbox, and I had the same
weird
the water bug that you encountered. I had not had that before. So yeah.
So in all fairness, the only thing that ever is seen the unofficial patch fix is the long neck, the Quincy quest line in the cannery, where you can actually have the dialogue options there. I haven't seen it really fix anything else, but
yeah, I don't.
What's his name? Tina in the vault, who is supposed to join you. It fixes that. Big deal. You get a settler who's quest locked.
Well, you should just kill those people anyway.
Yeah.
So for our next quest, guys, we're going on to Jet Fueled, which will be our last quest for the evening. Was this another location snafu that we had to correct on the website?
Yes, it was.
So we had to get to the Cambridge safe house, which we were not exactly told, right? We just were told to go.
Yeah, it just said what you picked up from the website, Andrew, just said south of Kendall Hospital. It did not name the location. And the south was a bit of a misdirection because it was pretty much directly southeast. Kendall Hospital.
Exactly right. From Kendall Hospital, you're going southeast to the Cambridge safe house. It has that cool little. I like the icon for the building. It has that cool little short icon, sort of like. I don't even know how to describe it.
Is it the one that's like a blown out building? Like half of a blown up building?
I don't know. It's like a little bunker or something looking.
Oh no! Oh, does it have like the little military bunker, like the mayor's safe house and Dance's safe house place? Yeah.
So we enter into the safe house, and you stumble into a conversation between a leader of it looks like a small little gang here. There's someone named Rabbit who's obviously bossing other people around. There's this guy named Slim who I think is a ghoul, right? And he keeps he seems to have some sort of bad attitude. He keeps kicking shit around and yelling "fuck" and like he's like, punching the terminal when he can't get it to work. But he seems to be their tech guy, but a little bit of a short fuse on the hacker Slim there. There's also their muscle. What was his name? Virus or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
that's hilarious. They should have named the tech guy Virus. That seemed more adequate. But then it would not be cool to have your muscle named Slim, I guess. Anyway. So you stumble into this scene here, and Slim is trying to hack this door via the terminal. And Slim is sitting there like mouthing off or something, and Rabbit's talking to say, hey, we need to get in here, and Slim's getting all pissed off because he can't get in. But your first test here basically is that you need to find a way to get into this door. Now, I was presented with multiple options how to get through this door. And my charisma is high, but there was no like charisma checks or anything. It wasn't like a convincing someone to open the door. But the three options that I was presented with were to hack the terminal myself because Slim was not having much luck, or I could get into a brawl with Virus, and if I beat Virus in a fist fight, then they would open the door for some reason. It was like, well, if you promise to open it after I beat him up, why don't you just go ahead and open it?
No, I don't think I think that's your test to get into the gang, right? I didn't fight him, but I don't think fighting him, I think, is the alternative to opening the door.
Okay. So you're proving you're just getting into the if you open the door, you get into the group, or if you beat him up, you get into the group. Okay, I understand that now. All right, I did not fist fight him, but I am. If you look at it, I don't know if it's dependent, if it's random, how this works, guys. But if you look at the terminal, it is a master level and really hard to hack. But I have high level hacking, so I could have done that. But then I sort of backed out, and I was like, okay, that's a master level terminal. So let's look at our other options. Let's explore this. See how Chris Takahashi wrote this. How this mod is structured here. Let's take a step back and look. Okay, we could fight this Virus guy. I don't want to get in a fist fight right now, even though with my power fist I would punch him in the face one time and he would die. So let's look at the security door. Wait a second, the security door is a novice level pick and it's a master level hack. Why on earth is it unbalanced like that? I thought for sure that the lockpick would have been a master level. That's not a random thing, is it? Did you guys also have novice?
Yeah. That's pretty common. I mean, it's in the vanilla game, it's usually not like literally right next to each other, but that's actually really common. That one way will be harder, but it's you'll have it's more often the other way where the lock might be advanced or expert or master, but then in a harder to reach area there's a terminal that's advanced or easier,
right?
Because in the vanilla game they're not gonna perk lock a quest. It's not going to require you to have advanced lockpick to get a quest. It'll just make it easier. So it's not that uncommon, but it is uncommon for them to like literally be right next to each other.
Well, it's a double dip reward. If you have the higher, if it's lockpick, if you have the higher lockpick skill, you get more experience for doing it that way.
Sure.
If you absolutely have to get through the door, there's the other option that you have that's less experience.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Or you can do you can hack the terminal. Don't unlock the door and you can do both if you want to. If you want to get every last bit of experience out of your quest,
bring it out, baby.
Yeah. So, and Andrew, you said now. Did anybody try to brawl?
No, I did not.
Yeah, because I don't know if mod authors have access to the scripting or whatever the hell it would be, but in when you get forced into a brawl in the vanilla game, like in the Bobrov's bar. You can't use weapons, so you wouldn't have been able to use your power fist. Now I think your iron fist would kick in, but it takes your weapons away.
I would still punch the shit out of his face though. With
iron fist, you would probably still take him down. Yeah. But I presumably the mod authors can force a brawl the same way that.
You're probably right. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
But if it's not considered a melee weapon, is it considered a weapon?
Yeah. Yes, it is it is a ironically unarmed weapon, right?
Unarmed. The
Well,
aptly named.
you modded out of a weapons workbench, so it's got to be a weapon.
Yeah.
This guy Knuckles are like that too, right? There's a few examples.
Yeah, boxing gloves, brass knuckles, power fist. I think there's at least one or two others, but there's not as many as there are. Like New Vegas has other things like boxing tape and a wider variety of things.
Yeah. All right. So let's pick up. Where are we here? I picked the lock to get into the group, and that proves that I'm allowed into the gang. Lee, what did you do to get into the gang?
I picked the lock.
Yeah, it's the easier option. Pat,
well, my hacking, I didn't have the hacking to do the other one.
you have
I had the hacking, so I did the hacking.
Did the hack? Any interesting results from that? Probably not.
I don't think so. I think it was pretty vanilla. Just open the thing. And I don't remember. My recollection, or maybe I missed it, or maybe it was clear and I missed it. But my recollection is it wasn't necessarily clear until after you succeeded. It wasn't clear that this was just a test to get into the gang.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. She, what's her name? Rabbit. Rabbit reveals that.
And she's a white rabbit, and she talks like people from what movie? Come on, gang. White. She's dressed in white. Her name's Rabbit. White Rabbit. Hackers. Matrix. Anyone? No. Matrix.
You say so. It's been too long.
Okay, it's only one of the best movies of the '90s, but
that was back
fine.
I was a child in the '90s, Pat. Come on.
Yeah, you really should have been right up your alley. You should have been sneaking into R-rated movies. You're really enjoying that.
I totally. I should have known that. I've seen The Matrix plenty of times. But
I was really not trying to steal Andrew's thunder. I thought it was a layup for him, so I was standing down.
But you guys know me in pop culture references. You know I know.
I know that's why I do it, Andrew, just to annoy you.
Keanu Reeves is not pop culture. Keanu Reeves is canon. He is Bible.
Whoa!
I was thinking of the source of that reference. I was trying to go Alice in Wonderland or Through the Looking Glass with it. I was like, I couldn't think of what.
That would have been a bottle label Drink Me. That would have been the Alice in Wonderland reference.
Muffin that makes you grow or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get the white part either. All I got was Rabbit.
Yeah,
well, she's all dressed in like a white suit, and she's very pale and blonde hair, and she's got Matrixy hair.
That's great. I'm glad we that's what we pay you the big bucks for, Pat. Thank you.
she actually what's the, because there's the character in the Matrix who gets killed. Is her name Twitch? The woman who gets killed with like the spiky haircut, kind of Annie Lennox hair.
She's got like 2 lines.
Yeah, but she's part of the gang. She's part of the original gang. So
she's scenery.
Oh God! Oh, you people are terrible. God, respect.
I don't even know who he's talking about.
She's got the white suit on. She's like the red suit in the away team. She's going to go down.
Well, they all go down in that scene except for Neo.
Switch, I think is her name. Yeah.
Switch. Okay. Yeah. There you go.
I'm on IMDb.
See, Laura's on it.
I'm on IMDb. I'm checking for you. I'm fact checking.
You guys are so fucking good at that stuff. I'm terrible. So, what is the result when you join the gang? What does White Rabbit want you to do after that point, Pat?
She wants you to meet them at a place where. So she tells you. They eventually explain why they're so, because as you were saying, Andrew, they're tired of huffing Brahmin shit and they want some good jet that's supposedly at a location which is initially undisclosed. There's a recipe for some good jet, and I think it eventually shows up as what, jet overdrive. I forget how it shows up in your inventory once you get the recipe and can make it. But after you get initiated into the gang, they said meet us at Hallucinogen, and we're gonna go find the recipe for this good shit. So so you traipse over to Hallucinogen, and I had done Hallucinogen, although I'd already done it, although there were gunners there, so I don't know if it had repopulated or if the quest repopulated it. I'm not sure. I'm not sure which. Yeah. Did any of you guys done Hallucinogen in the vanilla game already?
No, I had to go find it.
Yeah,
I hadn't even been there.
I'd stepped through, but Pat, one of the things that you can do with the survival options mod is affect how frequent something refreshes, and I have it set to the most frequent possible. So every time I go to a place, it has refreshed.
No wonder you're getting all these levels. Look at you power gaming like a pro.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah, I like it.
That's ridiculous. They can't restock a settlement. They're sleeping on busted up sleeping bags in the middle of the wasteland, but they're really concerned about their drugs being top quality.
Yeah.
Priorities.
They keep saying the Brahmin free shit, but then as she's speaking, she says some reference to a cow. And I was thinking 200 years afterward, they used the word Brahmin. Would they still know cows? I guess
maybe
yeah, sure.
From some of the burn up magazines, they might have learned that kind of stuff.
Yeah. The language will survive 200 years. Yeah. Now the one that's right. So baseball is totally forgotten. But the one that kind of my pet peeve is that the Bobrov brothers have these thick Russian accents. It's like, wait, are thick Russian accents going to survive 200 years? I'm not so sure about that one.
Yeah, that's a good call. I mean, that's true.
Well, I kind of always thought with the accent side of things is it's very much like maybe they like little communities, people tend to sort of like bunch together. So if there was sort of a strong Russian community in Boston, maybe
I thought through that angle. I was going to give them the benefit, but then if that's the case, that would be there's no other people besides those two, right? So it would imply that they've somehow migrated or something. There's not going to be a lot of long distance migration into this environment because it's too dangerous.
Well, so many people came out of the capital wasteland. Maybe they were,
there are
people who'd hidden away in the Russian embassy in Washington.
In all fairness to the Baroff brothers, their accent is thick. It's not like a light. They're going full on Russian accent.
That's right. Yeah.
So
they're full of
they're going to be the base.
Yeah. Well, that is one of the neat effects of an atomic bomb on a society. It will decrease the globalization of people and make them more tribalist or whatever. Like people will form their smaller groups and
yeah.
See, you only get that from Andrew in the Fallout feed, folks. He's like the good side of total atomic annihilation. We're not as globalized anymore. There's good things. People come. Let's all hug.
It's diversified many pockets of ethnocultures. You know what I mean? That's something we have to embrace and celebrate, right, Dennis?
No, we shoot everybody in. Lay their corpses out for display.
Kill all the children of Adam and stand on their skulls, right?
Pretty much, yeah. Sounds good.
Oh, great. So we're going over to where are we going?
Hallucinogen.
Hallucinogen, you're right. Hallucinogen Inc. or whatever it's called. So I went in the front door, and that's where I mentioned before that I had a horrible like stutter, really slow frame rate, and then crash. So I decided, actually, if you go down, and I think it's to the left and around, there's a master locked door to the side of Hallucinogen that you can get into. So I decided to go in that way since I have a really high lock picking. So we went in that way, and I basically killed most of the things in the whole building before I even got back to the front of the building to meet Rabbit and crew wherever they were hanging out. Let's see, because I went in the back way, I don't even know, where were they actually waiting? Were they waiting in the front lobby? I don't even remember where I met them.
No, they were in a lab.
Yeah, but
they were already in the lab?
Yeah, there's a room that I think is in Hallucinogen, but then there's a door in that room that the mod added. Or the door is there, but it's whatever.
I was gonna ask, the mod had to add that extra room.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So that always questions. So, okay, where did Chris get that room? Does he pull that from somewhere else in the game? Did you guys recognize that the bone structure of that somewhere else?
I did not.
No idea.
I know, like the bone structure of Belcher's Cave is from the hideout across the pond from Covenant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Because I had just done that one. I was like, "Whoa, hey, that one."
Yeah. It's always fun trying to figure out where they got it. But I did not recognize. And of course, the hallucinogen lab is not that big, right? So it was not a giant area to have to create from scratch.
What's not a speakeasy, but there was a bar that was reused as a separate from like the pool house or something, if I remember right. Last week I think we played a
yeah.
What,
Saints and Sinners is Boston Bordello, which reuses a couple locations.
Yeah. Poor Chris. He's like, I'm busting my ass to try and get content for you people, and all you want to do is know where you got it from the other place.
No, it's good. It shows like because Saints and Sinners, it's part of it is Backstreet apparel, but then some other stuff is from other. He's mushed things together. It's really clever.
Fun to play.
I really thought Pat was going to go another '90s theme and go Backstreet's Back.
All right. It's fun to play detective and to see where he's pulling all the different pieces from. That's why I want to know if he's literally piecemealing, working, like clipping the protagonist's voice to make these replies, or if he's just like selecting whole lines. Because I'm not familiar enough with all the dialogue to know, like, if that line is from that scene in the Institute when you're talking to Father. That's that reply that you say.
I recognize a lot of them, but by no means all of them. Yeah, because
I know that Andrew has said before that he plays a lot of times with the sound turned down.
Yeah.
Well, last week when I was trying to catch up on the Belter's Cave stuff, it wasn't until I heard the episode later that I remembered you needed the Diamond City Guards uniform in order to be able to do the second half of that quest. And it was like, I just had to leave the quest until later, until I happened to listen through the episode again and you guys talked about it, because I had the sound down because I was in the podcast when I ran across it.
See, that is the danger, Lee. I've discovered of playing with the sound on. Sometimes stuff slips by a little bit. But today I was playing with my headphones on. That's how dedicated I was to getting everything in today. I had to hear.
We're all proud of you.
It's amazing. You should always play with your headphones. I don't know why I'm one of the children of the new millennium. I have to have like a billion things going on at once. I'm terrible. But playing with your headphones on, like, the sound design is amazing. Like, you can actually tell where Dogmeat is barking from. And so when it says up in the top corner, Dogmeat has found something, you don't immediately waste like 30 seconds looking for a dog that you can't find. But you actually hear the direction he runs off in, so you can actually follow him.
Yeah. I have a 5.1 speaker system on my Xbox, and it's really nice.
Nice.
Although even I just have stereo on my PC, and even the PC they do a really good job with the stereo mix. When you're turning your character, the sound definitely moves very, very, very nicely between the two speakers.
You have your surround set up with so you can hear like ghouls approaching from behind and stuff.
I don't. It's not 7.1, so I don't have behind speakers, but you definitely kind of get it. It seems like it's behind you because they do just a really nice job with the sound mix. Yeah.
And this is way off. Sorry, go ahead, Lee.
Everybody talks about having this great sound system and stuff, and I remember back playing Baldur's Gate. I had my $10 desktop speakers, and when it rained in that game, I'd get cold. So the sound doesn't have to be too good for me to handle it.
Yeah. Just gives you the impression of supposed to be good enough. That's cool. All right, so where are we here? We're I found it wasn't gunners, it was raiders, right? That we were fighting all the way up through.
There were
gunners and hallucinogen.
Gunners were there. Okay. Hallucinogen's an interesting location. I happened to just have a hazmat suit with me. So I was like, fuck yes, this is going to be perfect because this gas won't affect me at all because I'll have a hazmat suit on. Guess what? The gas still affects you even if you have a hazmat suit on. I was going to be like, hey guys, I'm going to be all Adam Plude here. I'm going to bust out my hazmat suit and say, yes. But no.
Well, it's not radiation. It's like poison.
Yeah, but doesn't my hazmat suit have like breathing filters and stuff
for radiation? Yeah.
Dennis,
it's supposed to.
Come on.
One would think maybe you picked up one of those damaged hazmat suits by mistake.
You got a hole in it, man. It's 200 years. You picked up a hazmat from 200 years ago. Good luck with that.
There's a hole for my tail. Oh man,
You're a Khajiit. What can I tell you?
Working anymore? I'm growing a tail. So we're finding up gunners. Like I said, I kind of went in the back side entrance, so I fought most of these guys before I ran into them. It's not like they have to fight the gunners and there anyway. Why were there still people left over if they were already in the lab? Shouldn't have they killed those people for me? Why did I have to meet them?
That's your job, man. You're the new kid in the gang. You got to kill all the gunners.
So did you guys have any good adventures up through Hallucinogen? There's that neat section where you have those the test buttons from above where there's the observing tanks where you release different gases, I believe, and there's a terminal, I believe, that describes the different tests that they're doing. But I think there's raiders down there that they're basically your test, your lab rats.
Yep.
Like punch out gases of different kinds to see what the effects are. There's people screaming in the halls, if I remember right, about oh no, it's crawling under my skin or something. Maybe I think was one of the oft repeated phrases I heard of people screaming in agony. There were people on the floor. There was a raider suffering on the floor, and he wasn't aggro to me, so I didn't kill him. And he was just, I tried to talk to him. He was like totally freaking out. Do you guys have any fun experiences there in Hallucinogen? What were the different rooms? Did anybody take time to notice the different gases especially in the lab rat zone there?
No,
I did not. I had done Hallucinogen with a prior character, so that stuff's a lot of fun. But I didn't take time to do it with this character.
Yeah, that's pretty good stuff. So let's get to the lab actual portion then, Pat. This is where the quest sort of takes a neat little split here. Could you?
So you're talking about my recollection is sort of only of like the little end bit where you don't you have like 3 doors or something?
Yeah, I think that's where we're at here. There's
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, you have to get to the doors first.
Yeah, there's a little bit of business before that, but I was good and made a few notes, but I fell to the ground. Lee, you were making good notes earlier.
No, there was what's his name? The ghoul hacker Slim. You have to buy time for him because I believe there's a terminal there that he has to get through 5 security doors that he has to hack through, and then with each set of security doors, of course, there's a couple turrets there ready to shoot at you. So I believe you have to fight off the turrets while he's hacking these 5 doors open for you. And of course, not only in between each set of doors is the turrets, but also the double laser tripwires that will set off alarms and turrets and everything else. So that's a fun thing to have to try to get through, especially, guys. Remember when I told you this on purpose a while back so we could reference this brilliant point of my strategy. I left all my ammunition. I left all my guns. And all I'm carrying is my power fist. How am I attacking turrets 3 doors deep into this section? And like people are just like white rabbit ladies just standing there staring at me. Are you going to do something about this? This guy's trying to hack these doors open. What are you doing? Can you hurry up and shoot these turrets down for us? And I'm like, lady, I got a power fist. I can't punch through this steel. The turrets are behind these doors. If he could hack open at least one of them, I could maybe go try to take care of it. But it's going to... No, I can't. This is survival mode. I'm going to get torn down by this turret before I even can get up to it. Like, I need to learn to at least bring a pistol or something,
or some frag grenades. If you want to be hardcore and not do any guns, you can bring a stash of frag grenades. That'll help you out.
That would mean that I would have to learn how to not bounce them off the door frame right in my face and blow myself up every.
I don't have that problem with frag. Now I have that problem in spades with Molotov cocktails.
Cocktails, especially, yes.
Yeah, Molotovs. So I actually saw this tip gleaned from the internet that is worth sharing. Is everybody at some point in your playthrough should get a character with Demolition Expert 2 and pick up the throwing arc, and even if you don't do that again with another character, if you use the throwing arc with one character, you'll get a better sense for how the grenades work. because and the arc is pretty amazing because you can really thread a needle with those things with the arc. You still have to be careful. You have to not move your mouse or your controller until you finish your follow through, because you can affect the arc if you twitch at the
through. Wow, you can give your Molotov cocktail a little English and
you can't. But if you twitch your controller or your mouse before you've completely finished your throw, the game it'll mess up the arc. So you have to really be patient, like let the thing go. But if you do that with the Demolition Expert arc, you can throw it through the tiniest little holes. Now, Molotovs aside, because those things will still fuck you up.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because they're terrible.
Is there a special kind of grenade that will do turrets? Are they considered like mechanical items that would be affected by like whatever that electro grenade is?
The pulse grenade, but no. Well, the laser ones maybe, but just throw a frag grenade. That's all you need.
Yeah,
just throw a frag grenade.
I was just curious, man.
No, I mean it's you don't need to. I'm not sure if a pulse would. And of course, there's plasma that does both. Does explosive and pulse.
Yeah.
Plasma's the best.
The pretty green ones.
Yeah. I love plasma grenades.
Right. I do not. That's another aspect of the game that I need to explore. That's I need to do the explosives. I've never, and I want to experience the grenade launchers from New Vegas at some point.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah, those sounded really fun. They sounded better than missile launchers to me.
Oh yeah, I hate missile launchers. They're shitty. Yeah.
Okay, so once it was embarrassing, guys, but I kind of had to wait for Travis to come to the rescue. Again, I have Travis with me. At this point, I have also Susan has her handy Mr. Wigglesworth 1.3 is with her right now.
Yay!
We finally and I actually have an email that I need to read because of this, but I had a conversation with someone, and we figured out that all I need to do, and because last time I was asking where are the Robo Brains, where are they? And I can't find them. There's on the Radiant Quest. I'm not getting Robo Brains. I want these Robo Brains. Where are they? Damn it! And then a listener pointed out to me, "Oh, Andrew, all you need to do is get Science 2 and Robotics 1, and you can build them yourself at the robotics bench." Like what?
Okay.
Hey, that's cool.
So I've started my robot army. I've got 5. I'd already gone through 2, Mr. Wigglesworth. So I'm on. I've got number 3 out with me, but I went ahead and created like another 5 of them. So at my Nuka World Red Rocket, I've got versions 1.3 through 1.8 of Mr. Wigglesworth Robo Brain.
You're like Iron Man with his suits. It's just like.
But they're all different. They're all Robo Brains, but they all have different mode of transportation. There's one floating one. There's one with Sentry. There's one with Robo Brain Tank Tread. So it's fun to have like a little different version of each one. So I'm taking those out, and it's just great to play that way. And I've added the party girl because you suggested that in order to get her real true British party on, that she would want to like to have a sip of adult beverage every now and again. So
That's the charisma, isn't it? You need
every time
up.
Yeah, exactly. Every time I run into a bottle of alcohol in the game, my policy is to just drink it on the spot.
It's good policy. Good policy.
Every time Susan runs into some alcohol, she and Mr. Wigglesworth get to have a little party. Yay. So I'm having lots of fun with it now. I just wish I could find the cricket bat. And I was going to mention earlier, I said that I have my survival mode bad guy refresher set to as frequent as possible, but there's one location, it's like this outdoor amphitheater where the religious people are. I forget what the actual location is called. But
yeah. The amphitheater?
The amphitheater is that all it's called. But if evidently there are people there at this location that have these specific style of goggles that Laura was asking for Susan to wear. And that is one of the few locations where they will randomly come up. But that is also one of the few locations of the game that once you beat it, it's cleared and those people won't come back. So I didn't know that, and I cleared it and baked it into my save. Otherwise, I would have just like refreshed each time if they didn't have it. But each time I go back there now, everyone's dead. So I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to get those cool, whatever they were, pilot goggles or road goggles. I forget what they were called. But the cricket bat eludes me. But this character, I'm really loving with the Mr. Wigglesworth, and I hope I can find that cricket bat because I'm just gonna start going full Brit on everything.
Yeah.
It's how
Yeah, I
we
had a
deal with
weird
our problems.
experience. I had a weird experience with those guys. I was kind of coming up on them, and there was a battle going on between a Brotherhood of Steel vertibird and I don't know, super mutants or something. Anyway, the vertibird got shot down, and he crashed over by the amphitheater. And after that happened, those people were hostile to me.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know if it's because I was, quote unquote, in the Brotherhood of Steel or what, but I just
the vertibird crashed and killed one of their party members, obviously, or something.
Right. Right. It was just, I didn't expect it to happen that way.
Lee, one of the things that I always wished was that vertibird wreckage should have some sort of searchable cargo.
Yeah,
You should
for
be able
sure.
should be able to get, like, I don't know, a random piece of power armor or something. Like not a whole suit, but just like a piece. Like it should have something that you could search.
Or anything, boss sea rations or something, It's just, like you say, it's amazingly empty of anything useful.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get to our end here. Once I got through the 5 security doors with help of Dogmeat and Travis. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm glad that Dogmeat can bite his way through a turret. That's a good quality in a dog. We get to the lab and we find these 3 doors that Pat was referring to earlier. Pat, did you want to describe sort of what our puzzle is here? I don't even know if it's a puzzle really or not.
It says what there's. I think I don't know what really happens. I mean, I opened the door and I got the thing and
you did. Lucky.
Yeah. Now can you open a door and not get the thing? Did I just get lucky? Or did we all get the thing, the MacGuffin?
I did not get anything.
Okay.
Well, there's a choice that you can make. I asked her to make the decision because I didn't care. I was like, I'm going to test
I did too
and have you make the choice. And she walked up and made the wrong choice. She chose the middle door and dropped dead immediately.
Oh, nice.
Ouch.
There was some sort of gas release or something. And I don't know. She seemed damn certain that was the right door. I don't even know how she made her choice. It was really strange. She seemed so certain, and she's like, "Here it is. Okay, let's go take our treasure and unlock." And boom, I'm dead.
Huh? You're dead, or the?
No, I'm fine.
Dead.
I'm standing in the back of the room in my hazmat.
Okay, the white rabbit. Okay, yeah, rabbit, whatever it is. Okay, yeah, because I think I asked her to, but we got the thing. We got the special jet recipe.
Yeah, I did too, and she had picked the right door in my case. And what you find, it's called Jet Bomber Ultra.
Yeah, the bomber. That was the word I was.
Jet Bomber Ultra. And this is the cow-free version of Jet.
And it lasts twice as long, basically.
Right.
30 seconds rather than 15.
Also get a recipe
20,
at that point.
20
right?
instead of 10, but okay.
Yeah.
You get the recipe at that point that you can then make in your chemistry station back at home.
Yep. And the key ingredient is sugar bombs.
Oh.
And
nice.
there's a shit ton of sugar bombs in the lab.
Oh, great.
I believe it was 28, if I remember right. I remember, just for whatever reason, that number is sticking in my head.
The winning door remained inaccessible to me, so I never did get the chance to check it out. I should have saved right before. I don't know why I didn't think of that, but I should have saved right before opening the doors. I usually think of saving right before a puzzle just so I can try the different options, but I screwed myself there, so I didn't actually get to see it. And it ended right there, and I got the quest completed, and then the XP and everything just right there as they died. And I was like, well, that's...
Oh, did Virus or Viral or whatever, did he die also?
I know, both of them dropped dead immediately.
Oh, nice.
So I was like, that was weird. Interesting. Okay. I didn't get the jet recipe though. I was kind of mad. Oh well. So those were our quests. Do you guys have any closing thoughts for our quest tonight? Laura or Pat or Lee?
It's been a lot of fun to get to do this. I think you really enjoyed it. It's the first time I've ever kind of gone through something and talked to it at the same time. So it was quite enjoyable. I think next time, if I have the time, I'll actually properly go through it a bit more with the character. But I really enjoyed it. So it's certainly given me a taste of the old round play. So I'll probably get into it more next time, which will be awesome.
Excellent.
You're of course welcome anytime that you'd like to come back. Just let us know when you have when it fits into your schedule. I know that we record at a sort of inconvenient time for you in the UK. So whenever you do have it fits into your schedule, you're of course just give us a heads up and we'll fit you in.
Thank you very much. I enjoy coming along. It's really good fun to just have a little chat. Really, it's kind of cool. Yeah.
And please tell us about your show. Give us a plug for Westvault Radio before you go.
Oh yeah, just in case I don't know if anyone who listens to your podcast hasn't heard about it, but yeah, I do run a podcast called Westvault Radio, which is a sort of radio drama set within the Fallout universe. And it's based in a vault, Vault 97, which is a radio vault that was populated entirely by British expats. And for some reason, if you listen to Series 1, you'll find out why. But my character, Susan, she's the only human left alive in the vault. And she desperately tries to cobble together a radio show with a bunch of robots. And she's got her longtime traveling buddy, Mr. Wigglesworth, who is her robot BFF. And he kind of helps her run her. And and it's just what she daily basis, I guess. And for this season as well, we're in season 2. We're going to be releasing, I think, episode 3 shortly. Myself and Luke actually had a really good session today. We've done a lot of work for it. We're kind of working against a deadline because his wife Diane, she's due to have her baby on the 11th of June. So we're working. We're working to beat that deadline.
Congrats to him.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Luke. That's great.
Yeah, so we're all excited about that. But we've got to get it done before the baby comes.
Hurry up.
Because we'll probably have to have a little bit of a Luke is in, I don't know, Luke seems to think no, we'll be able to keep going as normal once the baby's long. I'm like, no, I think we're going to need a little bit of a hiatus, just only for a little bit. So don't worry, guys.
Just 18 years.
We will complete the series. No, it's we've got various people who will babysit to look after it, but we might have to take a couple of months off. So we're trying to get episode 3 out. Just if there's a bit of a break, we don't want to leave people hanging, and we don't want to leave an episode half finished. So this episode's got stuff in it. Lee will be making he's made a contribution, so he's going to be featuring in it. What I think in the recording you played from me earlier, there was like a little tiny sneak peek of like at least one song thing that I will be discussing. So there you go, like exclusive ASA content that is not available elsewhere. Will now be within the podcast. But thank you so much, guys, for having me on. It's really great fun, and thank you for all the plugs you do. I know that's it's a little bit disconcerting, like when I'm randomly listening to like one of your playthroughs or podcasts, and like my ad comes on, I'm like, oh, that's me talking again. Unexpected. So but it's really great fun.
Yeah, and also, of course, we use your voice as Susan, the host of our little mini quiz show, King of the Bunker Hill. And we're running out of time, so we'll actually get to another fresh episode of King of the Bunker Hill probably next week in the future. We'll also have an email from Benoit, from Benoit that we'll get to next week, and some audio feedback from Jeremy, Lee, Paul, Ray, and Pat. I don't know if real quick as we sign off, if you want your closing thought to be this week's edition of Benny's Podcatcher correspondence.
Yeah, two very quick things. We heard from Brandon on the show email. Brandon, thanks for writing in. We're actually not going to read Brandon's email until a little ways off in the future, once my Let's Play of Dead Money wraps up. I'm closing in on that, but Brandon has a couple of good comments about Dead Money, but since they spoil the quest, the endings, sort of the ending scene of Dead Money, I was going to wait and read his email later. So Brandon, thanks for writing in. Love to hear from you and everybody else out there, but we're going to hold off and come back to your note a little bit further on. And you know, and geez, wouldn't you know it? Denny had to actually drop out, so he's not going to be able to do Denny's podcast review corner. However,
funny how that happens.
I think we may be able to get somebody else to do that for us. Lee, I think I sent you this. This review comes to us courtesy of somebody who's kind enough to give us a 5-star review on iTunes. We don't know the true identity of this individual, but the iTunes handle is Guitar Dude 5321. So Guitar Dude 5321 was kind enough to leave us a 5-star review, which friend Lee is now going to read for us, if you would please.
If I can figure out where you gave it to me.
It's over in the chat. It's over in the Hangout chat at 9:23 p.m. is hopefully you got a timestamp that'll maybe help you find it.
I just paid it again.
Okay, 9:23. Yes. The best Fallout podcast review, period.
There you go. Thank you, Guitar Dude.
Podcast review.
All right. And Lee, thanks for doing that. So once again, Danny's not around to do his podcast review corner. So we'll it's elusive, but someday it's going to work out.
That's so weird. Great. So I'd like to take the opportunity to thank everyone for listening to
and
this.
Thank you, Andrew. Great show as always. Thanks for running us through the paces.
Oh, good. Yeah. Well, you guys, it's just you make it so easy to just hang out and have a good time. So I enjoy having this podcast time with everyone. We always have a good time chit-chatting about a silly video game that came out years ago now that we're still playing for some reason. But it's a wonderful little world that I like living in. So we'll just keep doing it as long as people will still shoot. I'll still keep doing it with you guys, even if people stop listening. I don't give a crap.
And there we go.
Hanging out's fun.
Yeah.
Fun. So I'd like to take the opportunity for thanking Denny, who had to hop off there. I know he's been on and off. He has a little bit of a hectic schedule, so I do appreciate it when he has the time that he can. It's always awesome to see Denny. So thanks for hopping on there for a second, Denny. And Lee, thank you so much for hopping on. Pat, as always, very appreciated. And Laura, all the way from, as we're required to say, across the pond, thank you for joining in.
Thank you for having me.
Of the Fallout Roundtable. So everyone, thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
See y'all.
See ya.
Everybody take care.
This episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable. If you are interested in doing a play-along character with us, the show can be contacted by emailing falloutroundtable@gmail.com. For the Roundtable schedule, our Amazon link, and all other show information, please head on over to asapodcasting.com, where you will find the Fallout Feed, the Skyrimatic Podcast, our YouTube channel, the Chatterbox, as well as other content. Once again, thank you for downloading, and we'll see you in the wasteland.
I'm gonna just get cracking on these Nuka World quests, man. They're gonna take years to get through. We got I didn't even mention it on the show, but Nuka World quests are coming up next week, guys.
Oh yeah.
We got the Magical World one and the what were the two?
It's a World of Refreshment, cleaning out the
World of Refreshment. Yeah.
I actually a little sneak preview for next week. I think it's two reasons. One, I'm over leveled. I'm at level 60, and I ran through the ghoul one in power armor with fully tricked out with the leaded mod, and that really seemed to help me get through all that obnoxious radiation mist in that location.
Oh, nice.
So anyway. Talk about that for next week. We should. We should have plugged. You're right. Yeah. Once again, Andrew, we did not plan the show, but that what would it be if we actually planned this out in advance?
So we'll see you in Nuka World, guys.
Yeah. Terrific.
Take care.
Thanks, everybody. Talk to you guys later.
Should we play the outro?
See you guys.
Thank you for downloading.
Oh, we did this.
Episode of the Fallout Feed Roundtable.
Deja vu all over again.
You can't have too much of a good thing.
I'm gonna have a little comedy here, guys. Come on, it's just
yeah. You're moving too fast for me at this hour. I'm sorry.
All right. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Talk to you later. It was fun.
Coming up soon.
See you later, guys.
Ciao.
Bye bye.